I think the other thing that I find to be so interesting with the Black community and Black men and women is that we spend all day, right, arguing, debating, right from wrong, trying to really find solutions to our relationship problems, right? We invest in courses and we are susceptible to all type of propaganda and marketing and all these things, right? But when someone enters the chat and says, hey, how about we just start respecting one another? How about we just start calling out dishonor, right? Like I did in my live video and like I did in the previous video talking about Michelle Obama and Barack Obama, right? We start to double down on the fear. We start to double down on the risk, right? We start to double down on dishonor and disrespect towards one another. So I had a friend who always challenges me, and I joke with this friend, he's Black, but I always say that he's anti-Black, right? And he has a completely different political agenda, right? And when I do my work of advocacy, he always challenges me and he says, well, what are the solutions, right? Like you always, what are the solutions, right? And so what I'm saying is that I do think in part it's interesting to hear from the other side to an extent, right? To an extent, I'm still going to stand on what I stand on. But to an extent, because we talk and we do all these things, but do we really want solutions, right? Do we really want solutions? If I could sit here and say, hey, listen, there's this normalization of dishonor. And I said, hey, listen, Michelle Obama, da, 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 da. And you have all of this, like, well, you don't know how Barack is and you don't know what Barack is about. And then it's like, these are the same women, you up in the church, you're praying all day for like, do we want to be partnered or do we not? And this is not women, this is men and women. Right? And so I just think it's very interesting. I think when you start talking about the ways in which we will invest in all type of, like I said, courses, marketing, susceptible to all type of propaganda. We'll get on podcasts, we'll argue, we'll listen to other, quote unquote, life coaches, all this bull crap, right? In regards to African-American relationships, but we refuse to change how we relate to one another. Right? We refuse to respect one another. We refuse to honor one another, even in the covenant of marriage, right? Like we just, so, when I think about this friend and I think about solutions, it does make you wonder, do we want solutions or do we just want to stay comfortable in the chaos? Do we want to stay comfortable in the space of advocacy and consumption, or do we really want change? And yeah,